Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MotorMaster Monday main event of the evening, live from Phoenix International Raceway on NASCAR Heat 5. It is round 34 of the 2022 NASCAR MotorMaster Series season, and hosted here on Heat 5. And we are gathered 100 laps, 18 drivers on the racetrack here at Phoenix International Raceway. It's the second race in the round of 8 for these playoff drivers. Earlier tonight, Matt Smith and the two were riding with him. He won at Las Vegas Motor Speedway to punch his ticket into the Final Four at Homestead. Right now, we have the pole sitter Aaron Garcia leading the way. Matt Smith in second. Josh Colm-Diaz running in third in that 7 car. You'll see the lime green and orange Toyota Supra of Jesse Carlson popping into the picture once in a while. He's scored in 4th and comes into this race 3rd in the point standings above the cut line. Jason Doro, the defending MotorMaster champion, rounds out the top 5 here, and we're working lap 6 at Phoenix. I'm NASCAR CEO Tyler McMurder. Strap yourselves in, grab a cold can of soda. They're 4 wide at Phoenix for the 7th place position. We have action all over the racetrack. Contact was made there between Alex Tesdall and Blair Roussel. 66 and the 8, and they're still sort of bouncing off of each other. Now this is going into the new turn 3. Reconfigured Phoenix International Raceway. Still gets me messed up once in a while. And the real winner in this battle was actually Trey Hollywood, one of our round of 8 playoff drivers. Every now and then you'll see him pop into the frame just in front of this group in the 51 Chevy Camaro. He was the one that was able to gain the most positions out of this, and he's leading this group and now clear of this Hornet's Nest. Alex Tesdall in the 8 car was eliminated in the round of 12. He's out here hunting for wins. Just behind him, Jeffrey Robinson Jr. in the 61. He's still very much alive in the round of 8 of the playoffs, as well as Harold Burden in the 39 car, who just sneaked his way up to this group. He wasn't there just a couple of laps ago. And there is the defending NASCAR MotorMaster Series championship, and I'm sure that he had great feelings coming back to Phoenix here in the MotorMaster Series. This is where it all happened. This is where the big night was for Jason. Won the championship last year in a 4-wide battle for the lead and for the win on the final lap. 2 cars wrecked, one wrecked high, one wrecked low, and it was a drag race between Kevin Tattersall, Jason Doro to the line for the championship. And by the front splitter of one of these cars, the 08 Chevy Camaro emerged victorious, parked in a victory lane, and was crowned your MotorMaster champion. Last year, 4 wins for him. This year, he is winless somehow, and he's looking to change that here tonight at Phoenix. He's had a lot of great runs this season. He's even had a race where he won both stages and then missed out on that race win. And tonight could very well be his night at Phoenix. A very familiar phase in victory lane could possibly be the story of the main event of the evening. And now I didn't see what happened here, but there's been some sort of problem for Jeffrey Robinson Jr. in the 61, and he's got a whole bunch of front-end damage to that car. Beautiful paint job. In my opinion, that's the nicest one that he brings to the track, and he's going to need to definitely evaluate this and repair it at the end of stage 1. Hopefully he can stay on the lead lap for the remainder of this stage and make it to the end without getting overtaken by the race leaders, because I don't think that any scheduled green flag pit stops are going to need to happen here in stage 1. I think that they can make it on the fuel and tires they have, unless we see a caution. I don't think we see anyone come to pit road. And how about Jesse Carlson? 2 wins for him this season. Comes into this race 3rd in the point standings and about 9 points above the cut line. Top 5 get the stage points, and right now he's in one of those positions, so he's doing everything right. He's doing everything he needs to do here at Phoenix. Go on out there, get into the top 5, get comfortable, get into a rhythm, and try to get as many of these stage points as he can. He's now being hounded by the defending champ, and Jason Doro knows that this is another valuable stage point for him. the interesting part about all of this, guys, round of 8 drivers, the drivers right now 5th to 8th in the point standings are only separated by 9 points, 5th to 8th. So there's 5 drivers that are all still battling for that 4th and final spot to the Final 4 at Homestead, and Jason Doro in the 08 is one of those. Comes into this race tied for the 5th position in points and looking to get as many stage points as he can here. Stage 1 at Phoenix just took the 4th place position away from Jesse Carlson, but at what cost? You can see the time lost for both of these drivers battling side by side as long as they did. And there's a good look at Josh Colm-Diaz, 2021 NASCAR Legend Series champion. You're on NASCAR Heat 5, and that was in the Cup cars, no playoff system, old school rules, no stages either. And right now scored in 3rd. Phoenix is one of his favorite racetracks. He's done very well here over the years. Won a truck race here before. Won a NASCAR Legend Series race here before. Comes into this race only 4 points below the cut line. And he knows that a 3rd place finish in the stage gets him 3 stage points, and that'll be a solid start to the main event of the evening. They're all chasing Aaron Garcia. 6 wins for him this season. Matt Smith just behind him, 12 wins this season. These 2 drivers are the number 1 and 2 seed drivers in the point standings and in the playoff standings all throughout the rounds. And you can see why. Been a common theme for most of the season. Been very much the Aaron Garcia and Matt Smith show. Aaron Garcia for Timac Motorsports, Matt Smith for Brett Baker Racing. Josh Colm-Diaz running in 3rd, Timac Motorsports. Jason Doro, Lone Wolf Motorsports, running in 4th, Brett Baker Racing rather. UCJ Motorsports, Toyota Supra of Jesse Carlson, scored in 5th. And that'll do it for Stage 1. Stage 1 is going to go to Aaron Garcia, Matt Smith in 2nd, Josh Colm-Diaz in 3rd, Jason Doro in 4th, and Jesse Carlson is going to round out the top 5. Those are the drivers being rewarded with stage points here at the end of Stage 1. And we've been lean, mean, clean, and green since the drop of the green flag up until this caution for the end of Stage 1. The green and white checkered flag waving for Aaron Garcia. Won the pole for this race and another stage win for him this season. He's got a lot of those. And now we are going to kick off Stage 2 with the teammates of Aaron Garcia and Josh Colm-Diaz leading him to the line. We are green. 18 drivers started the event. I believe we have 16 left on the racetrack. Many of them used the dog leg there on the up to speed lap on the restart. And 3 wide for the lead. There was contact between the 2 teammates. While they did that, Matt Smith and the 2 went way up to the outside. He's still there. They are still 3 wide for the lead. Jason Doro is right there with them in the 08 Chevy Camaro, and Trey Hollywood goes to the inside on him. And Hollywood, for the first time all race long, is up in the top 5. Harold Burden, Blair Roussel, Trenton Krentz, Jesse Carlson. They're all right there in this lead group. The 78 of Sean Lucas is up inside the top 10. He leads the second group along with Jeffrey Robinson Jr. in the 61, Jordan Green in the 4, and others. Monty Motorsports as well in the 54 up inside the top 12. Emily in the 15 coming off a strong top 10 earlier tonight at Las Vegas. She's up in the top 15. A couple of cars have lost the lead pack and are no longer battling for position. Alex Tesdall, one of the drivers that was eliminated in the round of 12, is one of them. And he will need to wait this out and survive until the end of stage 2, get that caution, and rejoin the group and battle again for the win. I think it'll be a similar story to stage 1. I think if we stay green, nobody's coming to pit road. Everyone has the fuel and tires all the way to the end. We'll see everybody pit at the end of stage 2, and then if we go green the entire final stage, I do believe we are going to see drivers come in for a splash and go, maybe even 2 right side tires on a splash of fuel. It's still Aaron Garcia leading the way with Matt Smith running in second, and just behind them, Jason Doro has just taken the 3rd place position away from Josh Cole-Diaz, and it's Harold Burden in the 39 car rounding out the top 5 right there with them. They have separated themselves from the group running 6th on back, and that is being led by Trey Hollywood and Jesse Carlson, 2 round of 8 drivers. In fact, actually, I should mention this. Round of 8 drivers running in the top 7 positions, and then Jeffrey Robinson Jr. scored an 11th. He is the other round of 8 driver. So some pressure for Jeffrey, I'm sure, to get up here and start battling for one of these top 5 positions. Still trying to recover from that early incident in stage 1. We didn't get it on camera, but a lot of front-end damage to that 61 Supra, and he's still trying to rally back. And there you see him. It's all patched up and fixed up now. He's just behind Sean Lucas in the 78. And among the 18 drivers in the field, I believe 7 of them started in NASCAR back on NASCAR 15 Victory Edition. Sean Lucas, Jeffrey Robinson Jr., they are 2 of them. And a side-by-side battle for the lead now. Two-time Platinum Cup champ Matt Smith trying to make a move to the bottom of Aaron Garcia, and he's being very respectful and well-mannered about it. Many times now he could have slid up into the side of the one and taken the lead that way, but he doesn't want to do it like that. Settles back in line behind the 1 car for now. And Aaron Garcia is going to continue to lead here at Phoenix in stage 2. Jason Doro, Josh Cole-Diaz, Harold Burden, the rest of the top 5. And another bold move to the bottom. Ooh, Garcia in the 1. He came up real close to the outside wall coming out of turn 2 that last time by, and might have been a little too close for comfort for him. He lifted quite a bit, lost quite a bit of momentum. He's still going to lead this lap, but he still has the 2-time NASCAR Platinum Cup Series champion to the inside of him, looking for the race lead and ultimately looking for the stage win as well. Matt knows he can kind of have some fun with these guys. With his win earlier tonight at Las Vegas, he's locked into the Final 4 at Homestead, so he can kind of relax in this race, or he can gamble, go off strategy in the final stage, and try to go out there and get his 13th win of the season and further extend that new season record for most wins in a single season. Whereas these drivers in this group, Aaron Garcia, Jason Doro, they all need to be relatively careful because they're not locked in by any means. There's nothing clinching them into the season finale and a Final 4 spot for them. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 4th to 8th rather, separated by 9 points only coming into tonight's event. So a few spots in the Final 4 still highly contested and wide open. And it's hard to take our cameras off of this action. They have been side by side for the lead for about 10 laps straight now. Matt Smith and Aaron Garcia, that is, the 2 and the 1. And it's Josh Cole-Diaz in the 7 and Jason Doro in the 08 that are taking turns down on the inside, trying to make a run on both of them. Garcia in the 1 finds the wall coming out of turn 2. That really hurts his momentum. The defending champ, Jason Doro, is going to go to second. Josh Cole-Diaz looking for third on his teammate. Harold Burton's got a front row seat for all of this action. He's that blue car in 5th. Blair Roussel running in the 6th place position. He's been able to break free from that second group of cars. Trey Hollywood in 7th, Trenton Krentz in 8th, Jesse Carlson in 9th, and Jeffrey Robinson Jr. rounding out the top 10. Sean Lucas and Monty Motorsports 11th and 12th. Jordan Green, Emily, and Timmy Brown, the rest of your top 15. And there's the 2-time world champion from Gran Turismo Sport, Trenton Krentz. Just barely missed out on the round of 8. He was the highest finishing driver amongst the round of 12 drivers, the 4 drivers from the round of 12 who were eliminated. And a very solid rookie campaign, rookie season for him here this year in the MotorMaster Series. Found victory lane once in the Legends Series last year in 2021. And his transition from Gran Turismo over to NASCAR Heat games has went very nicely. Well, ever since Smith was able to take the lead from Garcia, he's been able to check out a little bit. Jason Doro runs in 2nd and shows no signs of wanting to let the 1 car of Aaron Garcia back on by, and I really don't blame him. We're at the point in the season, folks. We're in the postseason where every point matters, and the top 5 drivers in the stages are the ones that get awarded the stage points, and now we see Garcia going back to the bottom for 2nd, and that'll do it for Stage 2. It's going to be Matt Smith, Aaron Garcia, Jason Doro, Josh Cole-Diaz, and Harold Burton picking up the Stage 2 points. All right, folks, and this very well could be the very last time these drivers make a pit stop under caution speed. We've had no cautions for on-track incidents. 18 drivers started this race, 16 of them left on the racetrack, and honestly, guys, 15 rather left on the racetrack. We've been clean since the beginning of this one, only minor incidents here and there. We're gonna see how the final stage unfolds. Matt Smith, Aaron Garcia lead them to the line. We are green again at Phoenix. We've seen how critical all race long track position is, and right now, this is the point in the run where you have the best opportunity to gain track position when you're all bunched up like this, and now we see them fanning out 2 and 3 wide down the back straightaway, looking for every piece of real estate they can find. And the battle for the lead is on, picking up where they left off in stage 2 pretty much, and that is Matt Smith, Aaron Garcia. They have actually opened up about a 5 or 6 car length gap over the drivers running third on back, and the drivers running third on back are being led by Harold Burden in the 39 and Jason Doro in the 08 Chevy Camaro, along with Josh Colm Diaz in the 7. The 5 drivers who earned the stage points at the end of stage 2, using track position at the beginning of the final stage to their advantage, breaking away from the rest of the field, and they've got a very healthy, safe cushion here at this point in the final stage. It's the third group of cars is being led by Trenton Krentz and others. Man, they got their work cut out for them if they're going to run down the top 5. Folks, we hope you're enjoying the show. It's round 34 of the 2022 NASCAR MotorMaster Series season, hosted here on NASCAR Heat 5. It's our 5th annual season here in these Xfinity cars on a NASCAR Heat game. We began back in Heat 2, and we've kind of transitioned all the way to Heat 5. And going to take this opportunity while we're under green and while everybody is still bunched together and battling for position. We're going to take this time to crank it up. Grab the volume knob and turn it sky high and ride along with your favorite NASCAR MotorMaster Series drivers here at Phoenix International Raceway on NASCAR Heat 5. And go on ahead and crank it back down for us, folks. We're going to bring you back to full commentary for the final stage of Phoenix International Raceway. And the race being led at this juncture by the two-time NASCAR Platinum Cup Series champion, Matt Smith, the driver of the number 2 Chevy Camaro. And he's being chased by the number 1 Camaro of Aaron Garcia. And as you can see on your frame here, they have really separated themselves from the rest of the field. They have driven off and made this a 2-horse dance for the win at Phoenix International Raceway. And we're looking around to see if we can find a better shot of the battle for third. And as far as we know, it's actually Jason Doro, the defending champion, scored in third. And that gives you a better idea on the gap to the top 2 in front of him, and the cushion that he has to the drivers battling for position with him behind him. It's about a 12 to 15 car length advantage over the drivers behind him, who are battling for 4th and 5th, and they were actually side by side a moment ago, and now back to single file. Josh Colm-Diaz in the 7 scored in 4th. Harold Burden in the 39 car scored in 5th. The top 5 drivers on the racetrack are all round of 8 playoff drivers. You have Trenton Krentz in the 16, scored in 6th. Blair Roussel scored in 7th. And then a pair of round of 8 drivers, Jesse Carlson in 8th, Jeffrey Robinson Jr. in 9th. Rounding out the top 10, another round of 8 playoff driver, Trey Hollywood in the 51 car, but he's being hounded by Alex Tesdall in the 8 car, who was eliminated in the round of 12. So the round of 8 playoff drivers, all 8 of them are scored inside of the top 10. 5 of them have scored at least 1 stage point in the first 2 stages. So they're really showing why they made the playoffs and why they earned the spot that they did. And there are the 2 Juicy J Motorsports Toyotas. 2 round of 8 drivers, and they're right behind their teammate, the part-timer Blair Roussel in the 66. This is the battle for position, all of them on the lead lap and inside of the top 10, trying to stay with the second group of cars. It's being led by Harold Burden in the 39 machine. He is the one scored in 5th. Trenton Krentz running in 6th, not too far behind him. The draft has actually proven to be quite significant here today at Phoenix International Raceway, and you really wouldn't think that it would be at a more of a flat 1-mile oval like this one. Smith still leading. The pole sitter Garcia running in 2nd. These 2 drivers, they combined for a grand total of 18 wins here in the 2022 NASCAR MotorMaster Series season. Earlier tonight, Matt Smith picked up the win at Las Vegas to clinch his spot, punch his ticket into the Final 4 at Homestead. It was his 24th career NASCAR MotorMaster Series win, and further extending his season record for the most wins in a single season. 13 wins for him. It's unbelievable. We had a strong feeling about Josh Colm-Diaz coming into this race, 2021 Legends Series champion. And it's honestly because every time we do come here, whether we're in the trucks or the Xfinity cars or the Cup cars, it seems like Colm-Diaz is always close to the front. He's won races here, he's won pole awards here, stages, you name it, and countless amounts of top 5 finishes. He's always a standout at Phoenix, and he's showing it's no different here tonight in tonight's Motormaster Monday main event. Round 34 of the season, and the second round of 8 playoff race this season. Lead change, folks, and it's Aaron Garcia, the driver of the 1, first driver to lead a lap in the final stage that is not named Matt Smith. And he might have done this and been able to do this by playing this very smart. Might have been riding behind Smith, saving his tires a little bit, saving his fuel, not wearing his stuff out, but using the draft to his advantage to keep the 2 within striking distance, and now pouncing later in the stage when he feels that maybe his tires are better. Time will tell here. And nevertheless, new race leader at Phoenix. A grand total of 5 different race leaders in this race, some of which have since then dropped outside of the top 5 and are still trying to work their way back forward. And there is Emily. She made the playoffs for the Truck Series this season and is currently 12th in the point standings over on Tuesday nights. Missed the playoffs here in her part-time MotorMaster campaign, but got a top 10 earlier tonight at Las Vegas, and that was her first of the season. So heading in the right direction for sure. She's trying to chase down the 6-time NASCAR champion who's just in front of her, and that is Jordan Green. And now I'm not sure if it's a part of strategy or not, but one of our round of 8 drivers appears to be fading just a little bit. He has dropped all the way back now to the 6th place position. Outside of the top 5 is Harold Burden in the 39 car, and I don't know, everything was going his way up until this point, and now we actually see him coming to pit road. Maybe he gave up a spot there just to make sure he had a clear entrance to pit road without the risk of getting run over by a car behind him. And we should mention, folks, the race leader is on pit road. Emily is on pit road as well. And here come a fleet of race cars, folks. Defending champ Jason Doro, Matt Smith in the 2, Josh Colm-Diaz in the 7, Jesse Carlson in the 20, the 61 of Jeffrey Robinson Jr., the 8 of Alex Tesdahl, Blair Roussel in the 66, everybody coming for scheduled service. Well, maybe not everybody. Trenton Krentz is staying on the racetrack in that 16 car. Might have a trick up his sleeve here. Still looking for that first career MotorMaster Series win. Flash 9 comes to a stop in his pit stall, as does the 7. And now it's going to be interesting to see where everybody cycles through at the end of all of this. Aaron Garcia in the 1 car, he came to pit road 1 lap before the 2 of Matt Smith, and now he's going to take back the race lead once all of this cycles back through and everybody has completed their scheduled pit stops. But will the 1 lap fresher tires be enough of a difference maker for Matt Smith to maybe charge back up there and battle with Aaron Garcia for this win? Now we saw the tires advantage really play a factor for Matt, and he was really able to make the moves that he did because he had 3 lap fresher tires than the drivers around him at Vegas for the finish, but that's a little bit different. This is only a 1 lap difference, and it's at a very flat track like Phoenix. It might not be a very noticeable difference having 1 lap fresher tires. It might have been a race-winning call for Aaron Garcia to come down pit road 1 lap before everybody else. And at the end of all of this, Jason Doro, the defending champ, up in 3rd. Josh Colm-Diaz in the 7 car, scored in 4th. And I believe that it is Trenton Krentz in the 16 Chevy Camaro running in the 5th place position, with Blair Roussel running in 6th in the 66 machine. Harold Burden lost a couple of positions on the leaderboard throughout the cycle of pit stops. He is now scored in 7th. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. just took the 8th position away from his teammate Jesse Carlson, and still all 8 of the round of 8 playoff drivers are inside the top 10 in the final stage at Phoenix, and they're all chasing Aaron Garcia in the 1 car. Six-time NASCAR champion Jordan Green, coming off a strong top 10 finish earlier tonight at Las Vegas. Doesn't have the track position he was hoping for here at Phoenix so far, but still up inside the top 15, having a pretty good day. Sean Lucas, Monty Motorsports, they're the next two cars in front of your six-time champion. Oh, problems for Monty. He got a little bit loose there coming out of turn 2, and that was nearly catastrophic for Jordan Green. We were just talking good things about Jordan, and man, that was really close. The 54 Super just got away from Monty for a split second, and that was dangerous. Now the two leaders are going to be in lap traffic here very soon, and Matt Smith looking to take the lead before they get there. Full move to the bottom, couldn't make it stick. A good launch for Garcia down the straightaway coming out of the corner, especially using the higher line. The laps are winding down at Phoenix. I don't believe anyone needs to come back to pit road before the end of this thing. Oh, and around goes Monty Motorsports. Good job by him, though, to keep the car up and away from the top two. They were battling for the lead, and honestly, the only reason why Monty wrecked the way that he did was because he elected to turn the car to the right and back up into the outside wall rather than spin and lose control and come down into the top two. So I can completely respect that move there, and no caution called for the incident. He's still rolling with some front-end damage to that Supra, and he might want to consider coming to pit road to repair it. Front-end damage to the 39 of Harold Burden as well, but I don't think it was related. I think that that's as a result of battling for position with the 20 of Jesse Carlson. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. has also been able to work his way around both of those drivers. It's taken pretty much all race long, but the former NASCAR champion on NASCAR 15 Victory Edition is starting to really shine and work his way to the front. These round of 8 drivers need every point that they can possibly get coming into this race. 4th to 8th were separated by 9 points only, and Jeffrey Robinson Jr. was the 8th seed in that battle, so he needs every point possible. And the battle for 3rd. Josh Colm-Diaz in the 7 car is going to take that position away from your defending champion, Jason Doro. And again, there could be strategy involved with that. Some of these drivers might be trying to save their tires and fuel just a little bit, depending on when they came to pit road. Some do appear to be more confident than others. And we have a new race leader. Two-time Platinum Cup champ Matt Smith back out front. Again, they're coming up on a couple of cars to put them a lap down. Jordan Green and Sean Lucas, I believe. And that will play a factor into how these two leaders shape out and look afterwards. Right now, only separated by 2 car lengths. The tires and fuel advantage by 1 lap goes to your current race leader, Matt Smith. And now at this point, honestly, if you're Aaron Garcia, you just need to stay in the draft and try to stay with the 2 car. Maybe hope that he runs a little harder than you while you don't have to. Stay in the draft and stay with him, and hopefully the tires will equalize before the end of the race, and that's when you maybe start to make your moves. Catching these 2 lapped cars, that is helping the race leader. He's getting a sniff of their draft, and that is actually helping him pull out a little bit further in front and away from Aaron Garcia. It's now a 3 or 4 car length advantage when they're on the straightaways. Jordan Green, long-time NASCAR driver, gets way up and out of the way. Sean Lucas, 5-year veteran as well, is going to do the same. Very respectful moves from 2 very respectful drivers and 2 former race winners here in NASCAR. And the battle for third is still very much alive here. See, we saw Josh in the 7 drive around your defending champion Jason Doro, but he hasn't been able to drive away from him ever since completing that pass. And Jason Doro might be doing what I was talking about Aaron Garcia possibly wanting to do with the race leader. Doro might be saving his tires, just kind of hanging out in the draft with the 7 car, and might be planning on pouncing later in the race when he feels like he has a bit of more of a, a grip advantage. Kind of amazing how strong the draft is here at a flat 1 mile oval like Phoenix International Raceway. It's something I'm sure some of these drivers did not anticipate. We've seen track position be a major part and a major factor in the leaderboard and the running order all race long. It's been very tough to pass, and it's been very tough to hold your track position as well. Seems like once the top 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 have checked out, it's almost impossible to drive around the group that you're in and start reeling them in. And speaking of reeling in, Matt Smith is reeling in yet another NASCAR MotorMaster Series win, and if he can hold on for another handful of laps, it's going to be his 25th career NASCAR MotorMaster Series win, holds the all-time record on the all-time wins list, and he's putting it further and further out of reach. Every season he comes back for more NASCAR MotorMaster Series action. Now, I'm not ruling anything out here. I'm not saying Aaron Garcia is completely done, but he needs to make something happen here. He charged way into turns 1 and 2 with a very interesting line, and that might have simply been the last gasp, the last ditch effort there by Aaron Garcia to take the win away from Matt Smith, and it was. The checkered flag flies. And for the 13th time in 2022, Matt Smith is going to park that number 2 car in victory lane for Brett Baker Racing. A great effort there by Aaron Garcia. 6 wins for him this season, was looking there to make it 7. And it was a highly contested battle between those two. They led the most laps between the two of them here today, and he's going to finish in the 2nd place position. Jason Doro 3rd, Josh Colm-Diaz in 4th, and I believe it was Harold Burden rounding out the top 5. The results will be available NOSSCAR.com/Motormaster. And congratulations to Matt Smith. On fire this season. Seems like nothing can stop him. Last season, it was a very similar feeling, a very similar vibe for Matt Smith, but that wild 4-wide finish changed everything. And it was right here at Phoenix where it happened. Can this year be the year, folks? Is Matt Smith going to do it? 2 more races until we find out. 1 more round of 8 playoff race, and then, of course, the season finale, the championship race, next week, next Monday, at Homestead Miami Speedway. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us here on the NOSSCAR YouTube channel for tonight's action. Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Phoenix, they're both in the history books. Congratulations to Matt Smith on a doubleheader win on MotorMaster Monday. Not many drivers can say they've done that, and now Matt Smith has done it for a 3rd time in his NASCAR career. And from all of us here at NOSSCAR, we are saying so long. We will see you next week for the championship race. And until then, stay fast, folks.